are 30 random space facts that will blow your mind. You know, ever since I was a kid watching Star Wars, I've been captivated by the idea of a planet with two suns. Turns out science fiction isn't that far off from reality. Fact 1. There are exoplanets out there, orbiting not one, but two stars, just like Luke Skywalker's home planet of Tatooine. A planet that orbits two stars is called a circumbinary planet. These planets experience a unique kind of twilight with light coming from two different directions, casting shadows and creating an otherworldly ambiance. One such example is Kepler 16b, a gas giant located about 200 light-years away in the constellation Cygnus. While not exactly a hospitable place for humans, it definitely demonstrates the incredible diversity of planets in our universe. Fact 2. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 2, carrying a brave canine cosmonaut named Laika. This pioneering pup became the first living creature to orbit the Earth. Now, Laika's mission was a monumental step in space exploration, demonstrating that living beings could withstand the rigors of spaceflight. We often hear about the vastness of space, but grasping the sheer scale of it can be a real challenge. Fact 3. Our nearest stellar neighbor, Proxima Centauri, is a little over 4 light-years away. Now you might think, 4 years, that's not so bad, but hold on. A light-year isn't some measure of time like a year on a calendar. It's the distance light travels in one Earth year, and light is the fastest thing in the universe, clocking in at a speed that would make even a speeding bullet look like a snail. So, if we hopped on a spaceship traveling at the mind-boggling speed of light, it would still take us 4 years to reach Proxima Centauri. The reality is the distances between stars are so immense that even with our most advanced technology, reaching them within a human lifetime remains a daunting challenge. Jupiter, the king of our solar system, is a planet of superlatives. It's the largest, it boasts the most moons, and it harbors a colossal storm. Fact 4. The Great Red Spot, a swirling vortex of storms, has been raging for centuries. Imagine a storm so vast it could swallow Earth whole. This storm has been a fixture for at least 350 years. We often think of our solar system as a collection of planets, moons, asteroids, and comets all dancing around a central star. The sun isn't just the center of our solar system, it's practically the entire solar system rolled into one. Fact 5. It accounts for a staggering 99.8% of all the mass in our cosmic neighborhood. It's the gravitational anchor that holds our entire solar system together. Whenever you feel the warmth of the sun on your face, remember that you're experiencing the power of a celestial giant. Fact 6. Saturn could float if placed in water. It might sound ridiculous, but Saturn, you see, is a gas giant. That means it's made mostly of hydrogen and helium, the lightest elements in the universe. It's so light for its size that its average density is less than that of water. Now we can't just dunk Saturn in a bathtub to test this theory out, but if we could, it would theoretically float. We've got mountains here on Earth like Everest that make us feel pretty small. But then you go to Mars, and you've got Olympus Mons putting everything in perspective. Fact 7. This behemoth of a volcano is the largest mountain in our solar system, 3 times taller than Mount Everest. Can you imagine climbing that? Olympus Mons is a shield volcano, which means it's formed by lava flows over billions of years. This Martian monster is an example of the incredible geological forces that have shaped our solar system. In space it seems like there's always something that throws us for a loop. Take Venus for example. It's a planet that marches to the beat of its own drum, literally. While most planets in our solar system spin on their axis in a counterclockwise direction, Venus decided to be different. Fact 8. It rotates clockwise, and that is what we call retrograde rotation. This means that on Venus, the sun rises in the west and sets in the east. Black holes. Just the name conjures up images of cosmic vacuum cleaners sucking up everything in sight. Fact 9. Despite the name, black holes aren't really holes at all. They are a region of space so incredibly dense, so unbelievably compact, that its gravity goes off the charts. Imagine a star, many times more massive than our sun, collapsing in on itself until it shrinks to a point tinier than a pinhead. That's the heart of a black hole, a singularity. Now this extreme gravity, it doesn't play nice. It warps the fabric of space and time around it, creating a gravitational pull so strong that not even light, the fastest thing in the universe, can escape its grasp. That's why we call them black holes. No light can get out to reach our telescopes. But don't let the darkness fool you. Black holes are some of the most fascinating and powerful objects in the universe, shaping the evolution of galaxies and pushing the boundaries of our understanding of the cosmos. We humans, we like to think we're pretty self-sufficient down here on Earth, but the truth is, we owe our existence to a lot of cosmic coincidences. One of the biggest, our planet's magnetic field. Fact 10. This invisible shield, generated deep within Earth's core, is our first line of defense against the relentless onslaught of solar radiation. Imagine the sun as a giant unruly teenager having a cosmic temper tantrum. It's constantly spewing out a stream of charged particles, a solar wind. that could strip away our atmosphere and bombard the surface with harmful radiation if left unchecked. Our magnetic field acts like a cosmic force field, deflecting these charged particles and protecting us from their harmful effects. It's like having a giant invisible umbrella that keeps us safe from the sun's tantrums. Without this protective bubble, life as we know it wouldn't stand a chance. Meet Ui Scuti. This is a red supergiant star located in the constellation Scutum. If Ui Scuti replaced our sun, its outer layers would extend beyond Jupiter. Our entire inner solar system would be swallowed whole. Fact 11. Ui Scuti's radius is about 1,700 times larger than our sun. That's like comparing a basketball to a grain of sand. Okay, we've talked about gas giants, ice giants, even planets with two suns. But have you ever heard of a planet made of diamond? Fact 12. 55 Cancri e, a planet twice the size of Earth orbiting a star called 55 Cancri, might just be the ultimate cosmic bling. This planet whips around its star so fast that a year there lasts just 18 hours. Imagine celebrating your birthday every 18 hours. Now 55 Cancri e is what we call a super-Earth. It's rocky, like our planet, but far more massive. What makes this planet so intriguing is what it might be made of. 55 Cancri e orbits very close to its star and it's bombarded by intense heat and pressure. These extreme conditions, my friends, could be the perfect recipe for compressing carbon into, you guessed it, diamond. If we could somehow snag a chunk of this planet, we'd be looking at a diamond beyond our wildest dreams. We all know the moon, our celestial companion, the brightest object in our night sky. But here's something you might not know. The moon is slowly drifting away from us. Fact 13. Every year, the moon inches about 1.5 inches further away from Earth. Now 1.5 inches might not seem like much. It's less than the length of your thumb. But over millions of years, this tiny distance adds up. The moon's gravity tugs on Earth, and this interaction is gradually causing the moon to spiral outward. Don't worry though, the moon isn't going anywhere fast. It'll take billions of years for it to escape Earth's gravitational clutches. We've all heard Mars called the Red Planet, right? And for good reason. Its rusty red surface colored by iron oxide is a dead giveaway. But here's a twist for you. Fact 14, sunsets on Mars aren't red at all, they're blue. I know it sounds strange, but it all comes down to how light interacts with the Martian atmosphere. You see, Mars has a very thin atmosphere, much thinner than Earth's, and it's filled with dust particles. Now, during the day, the longer wavelengths of light like red and yellow scatter more easily in the Martian atmosphere. That's why the sky appears reddish-brown. But at sunset, when the sunlight has to travel through more of the atmosphere, something fascinating happens. The longer wavelengths are scattered away, leaving the shorter wavelengths like blue and violet to reach our eyes, or at least a rover's camera. And that is why sunsets on Mars have a cool blue hue. Fact 15. Venus, the hottest planet in our solar system. Venus has an incredibly dense atmosphere, about 90 times thicker than Earth's, and it's almost entirely made of carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas. This thick CO2 blanket traps heat, creating a runaway greenhouse effect. The surface temperature can reach a scorching 900 degrees Fahrenheit. So, while Venus may look beautiful from afar, it's a harsh reminder that appearances can be deceiving in the cosmos. Now let's talk about something truly out of this world, how space affects the human body. On Earth, gravity compresses our spines. In space, microgravity reduces this force, leading to interesting changes. Fact 16. Astronauts can grow up to 3% taller in space. This is due to the stretching of intervertebral discs. Without gravity, the discs expand. But this height boost is temporary. We often talk about the vast distances in space, but how do we even begin to comprehend such scales? We use a cosmic yardstick, the light year. A light year measures the distance light travels in 1 Earth year. Light travels at 186,282 miles per second. That's fast enough to circle the Earth over 7 times in a second. In 1 year, light covers 5.88 trillion miles. The sun is about 93 million miles away from Earth. Fact 17. Sunlight takes a little over 8 minutes to reach us. When you look at the sun, you're seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. It's like looking back in time. The farther out we look, the further back in time we see. That's the beauty of astronomy. It reveals the awe-inspiring scale of the universe. Pluto may be a dwarf planet, but don't let the name fool you. Fact 18. Pluto has a family of 5 moons orbiting it. The biggest member of that family? That's Charon. It's almost half the size of Pluto itself. They're more like a binary system, a double dwarf planet waltzing through the cosmos. The other 4 moons, Styx, Nix, Kerberos and Hydra, are much smaller. We tend to think of galaxies as these vast, unchanging islands in the cosmos, right? Well, the universe is a dynamic place, my friends, and even galaxies aren't safe from a little cosmic fender bender. Fact 19. Our Milky Way is on a collision course with Andromeda. Don't panic, this will unfold over billions of years. Andromeda is 2.5 million light-years away, moving towards us. In about 4.5 billion years, they'll collide. It'll be a spectacular display of cosmic fireworks. This is a natural part of galactic evolution. Out there in the frigid depths of our solar system, beyond the orbit of Saturn, lies the ice giant Neptune. It's a world of deep blue hues, shrouded in an atmosphere of hydrogen, helium, and methane. Fact 20. These are supersonic winds, reaching speeds of up to 1,200 miles per hour. What drives these ferocious winds? It's a combination of factors. First, the planet's internal heat, radiating out from its formation. Second, Neptune's atmosphere is incredibly dynamic, and there's no solid surface to slow these winds down. You know how they say, a day on Mars is just like a day on Earth, just 40 minutes longer? Fact 21, a Martian day, or what scientists call a sol, is about 24 hours and 39 minutes long. Now you might think, big deal, 40 minutes, who cares? But think about it. Every day on Mars, you'd be gaining nearly an extra half hour compared to your friends back on Earth. Imagine the jet lag. But it's not just about the length of the day. A longer day also means different heating and cooling cycles, which would affect everything from the planet's weather patterns to the potential for life as we know it. So while those extra minutes might seem trivial, they actually make a huge difference in the grand scheme of things. We like to think we're big, important creatures here on Earth, right? But then you start talking about the universe and suddenly, we're less than a speck of dust. Case in point, the observable universe. Fact 22. The observable universe spans a mind-boggling 93 billion light-years in diameter. That's 93 billion times 6 trillion miles, a number so large it's practically meaningless to our puny human brains. And here's the kicker, that's just the observable part. That's just what we can see. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light, which means there's a whole lot more out there that we haven't even begun to glimpse yet. We've talked about black holes, those cosmic monsters that warp space and time. They're not holes in the traditional sense, but regions of extreme density with gravity so strong, not even light can escape. Now imagine a black hole so massive, it dwarfs our sun. Not just twice as big, not 1,000 times bigger, but 4 million times the mass of our sun. Fact 23. That is Sagittarius A*, the supermassive black hole lurking at the center of our very own Milky Way galaxy. This behemoth sits about 26,000 light-years away from us, and while it's not actively gobbling up stars at an alarming rate, its presence dictates the motion of stars and gas clouds in the galactic center. It's a cosmic dance, a delicate balance between the pull of gravity and the incredible speeds of these celestial objects. Sagittarius A* is a stark reminder that even in the vastness of space, some forces are so powerful they can hold entire galaxies in their sway. In 1969, humanity took its first steps on the moon. It was a giant leap for mankind, a moment forever etched in our collective memory. Fact 24. Did you know that those iconic footprints left by the Apollo astronauts are still there, undisturbed after all these years? You see, the moon doesn't have an atmosphere like Earth. No wind, no rain, no erosion to speak of. So, those footprints, those indentations in the lunar dust are essentially frozen in time. Talk about leaving your mark on the universe. Now there are micrometeorites, tiny space rocks that constantly bombard the lunar surface. But even these impacts happen over such long timescales that it would take millions of years to erase those footprints. So when we look up at the moon, we're not just seeing a celestial body, we're seeing a time capsule. We often think of space as a vast, empty void, and while it's true that space is emptier than any vacuum we can create on Earth, it's not entirely empty. Fact 25. The space between stars, what we call the interstellar medium, is filled with a diffuse soup of gas, dust, and particles. Now, I'm not talking about a thick fog you could get lost in. This is more like a cosmic whisper, a thin gruel spread out over unimaginable distances. We're talking about stray atoms of hydrogen and helium, leftover remnants from the Big Bang, and heavier elements spewed out by exploding stars. There are even complex organic molecules out there, drifting through the cosmos. This interstellar medium, though incredibly tenuous, plays a crucial role in the evolution of galaxies. It's the birthplace of new stars, the material from which future solar systems will form. Our sun, that big ball of plasma in the sky, won't be around forever. It may seem everlasting, but even stars have a life cycle. Fact 26. In about 5 billion years, it will enter a new phase, becoming what astronomers call a red giant. Now when I say giant, I mean giant. The sun will expand significantly, engulfing the orbits of Mercury and Venus. Earth's fate is a little less certain. It might get swallowed whole, or it might be pushed into a wider orbit. Either way, I wouldn't make any vacation plans. This dramatic transformation is a natural part of stellar evolution. As the sun burns through its hydrogen fuel, it will gradually heat up and expand. Eventually it will become so large and luminous that it will transform from a yellow dwarf like it is now into a red giant. Venus, our closest planetary neighbor, is a fascinating and bizarre world. It's often called Earth's twin because of its similar size and composition, but don't be fooled. Venus harbors some truly mind-boggling secrets. One of the most peculiar things about Venus is the length of its day. You see, a day on Venus is longer than its year. It takes Venus about 243 Earth days to rotate once on its axis, but only 225 Earth days to complete an orbit around the Sun. Now, how is this possible? Well, Venus rotates in the opposite direction to most planets in our solar system, what we call retrograde rotation. We're not exactly sure why, but it might be due to a massive collision in the distant past. So there you have it. Venus, a planet where you could celebrate your birthday more often than your daily sunrise. It's just another example of the incredible diversity and wonder of our universe. Let's talk about neutron stars, the remnants of massive stars that have gone supernova. These objects are some of the densest things in the universe. Imagine this. You've got a sugar cube. Seems pretty ordinary, right? Now imagine that sugar cube weighing 1 billion tons. You heard that right? 1 billion tons. That's the kind of density we're talking about with neutron stars. You see, when a star much more massive than our sun runs out of fuel, it collapses under its own gravity. This collapse is so intense that it crushes protons and electrons together, forming neutrons. The result is a sphere only about 12 miles across, but with the mass of our sun crammed inside. That means a teaspoonful of neutron star material would weigh about 6 billion tons, roughly the weight of Mount Everest. It's mind-boggling to think about such extreme density existing in our universe. We've all heard the phrase, time flies when you're having fun. Well, on Pluto, time takes its sweet time, even if you're not having fun. Not that Pluto isn't fascinating, of course. Out there in the frigid outskirts of our solar system, a year is a completely different beast. Here on Earth, a year is about 365 days, a trip around the sun. But Pluto, being much farther away and moving at a more leisurely pace, takes a whopping 248 Earth years to complete one orbit. That's right, 248 of our years to equal just one on Pluto. To put that in perspective, if you were born on Pluto when Pluto was discovered in 1930, you'd be celebrating your first birthday right about now. And if you think about all the historical events that have unfolded in those 93 years, it really hits home how different time is on Pluto. It makes our little blue planet's orbit seem like a quick spin around the cosmic block. Wow, from the mind-bending density of neutron stars to the glacial pace of time on Pluto, we've journeyed to the edges of our cosmic understanding. But remember, the universe is full of even more wonders waiting to be discovered. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed these mind-blowing space facts, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing content. See you next time.